everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I had got this idea from a YouTuber called Becca Rose, who, if you don't know, I will link her channel down below. I don't personally know her, but I do watch her videos, and she has made 2 of these videos. She's kind of started up this series herself, and I mean, she's never going to watch my videos, but if she happened to, I hope she doesn't mind me also following on this new sort of tag and series, because it's actually a really good idea and I want to do it myself. So this is kind of like an A to Z of me, but each video is going to be a different letter of the alphabet. So I'm going to do this every couple of months or every couple of weeks, just when I kind of want to upload a different letter, and each time there's going to be 3 different topics that I'm going to talk about in relation to that letter. So I know it sounds a bit confusing, but today is the letter A, obviously, and I'm going to talk about they can be like little stories or some personal experiences or just something about me or something in my life to do with the different letters of the alphabet. So today I'm going to talk to you about arm, anxiety, and Alan. This is actually a funny story. Well, it wasn't really funny at the time, but I have broken my left arm. I do know my lefts and rights, but I have broken my left arm in the same place twice in my life, and it was a really painful experience. The first time that it happened, I was just outside in my garden. We have like this little skinny wall which separates a patio from the grass, and I was just like walking along it, and I was kind of like trying to balance. I was pretending to be like a gymnast or something, and I fell to the side. I lost my balance, fell to the side, and actually broke my arm by falling on the grass, which I don't even know how I managed to do. But I just remember my dad and his friend rushing me to A&E, and yes, it was painful. I cried a lot, and then I only went and did it again. The second time I was in school. I think I was in year 7 or 8. So I would have been 11, 12 at the time, and I was just running in the playground. I was chasing after a friend, and I had non-grip shoes on, so these shoes were quite slippery. And I was turning a corner, and as I turned the corner, my shoes slipped, and so did I. And yes, I fell on my arm and broke it a second time. And I remember I was sat in the reception crying my eyes out. My friends were all walking past me, and they were asking if I was okay, and all I could do was cry and cry because I was in so much pain, waiting for my mum to pick me up. And when she did pick me up, she was just in panic mode, as you can imagine any parent would be if they get a phone call saying, "Oh, I think your daughter has broken her arm." But yes, I remember like seeing the x-ray once we'd been at the hospital for a while, and you could really see, x-rays are just so crazy. Like, you could proper see how the bone had broken, and I was like, oops. I'm a really clumsy person, but I think those 2 incidents were just like pure bad luck. Anybody who breaks the same bone twice is just unlucky. I think there are a lot of people who suffer from anxiety. What people don't know about me is that I am anxious about a lot of things. I do have a lot of panic attacks, mainly when I'm on my own, because I don't really like to show that I'm an anxious person, and a lot of people don't know that I'm an anxious person, but I am. And I think I don't know, sometimes I think it's just all in my head, and other times it is a situation which makes me really anxious. So there's classic things like being in a closed and tight space, things like lifts just makes me feel really anxious. I don't like to be in lifts or closed spaces on my own. where there's big crowds. So I love going to festivals, I love going to concerts, I love going to clubs, things like that, but I have to try and distract myself from the fact that there's so many people around me. And sometimes if people are too close to me, I don't like it, and I get very, very panicky, and I just feel like I can't breathe and things like that. It's not so bad in festivals because obviously you're in open space, although in the tent areas I either like to be right at the front, because there's no one in front of me, although they are around me, like behind, they're not like surrounding me, or I like to be outside on the edges, so I don't really like to be in the middle. But yeah, wherever there's like big crowds, I get very anxious. A couple of weeks ago, my parents went on holiday for the first time without me and my sister. I'm 24 years old and my parents have never ever gone on holiday without us. They've never left us on their own, and that's like their choice, by the way. If you're wondering like why have they never been on holiday, it's just their choice. They're just like, we're very family orientated. But anyway, when they went for those 2 weeks, I was basically like in charge of like the house, and the first 2 or 3 days was really panicky time for me. Like, I felt sick because I knew that I was responsible for the house. I knew that they weren't going to be here. I mean, God knows what I'm going to be like when I move out one day, but that's different because it will be like my own place. But being responsible of your parents' house and being so used to them being around and stuff like that to protect you, and then not having that there, that made me feel really anxious. I kept messaging my boyfriend and just saying like, I just don't feel well, like I'm panicking and I don't know why, and I just feel sick. And it is all down to, again, it's probably in my head. Also, when I started driving, that was, and still to this day, I do get quite anxious when I drive. Not so much because of me. I think it's, I'm scared of other drivers, which is kind of normal to be scared about. You never know what's going to happen when you drive. I'm getting more used to it now. I'm a lot more confident, but the first few days, I did feel like I was going to throw up. I find that I'm also quite an anxious person when there's change in my life. So if something different happens, or if I know that something is going to happen in the future where there's going to be change, I have a knot in my hair. Yeah, that makes me very, very panicky, and I'm just scared of like what's going to happen in the future, which again I think is something that a lot of people do get anxious about. Not a lot of people that know that I'm a very anxious person, but I do try and keep it to myself, although there are moments where, you know, I just can't control it, and it's something that I just have to work on. So I am getting there. Like I said, sometimes I think it's just all in my head and it's things that I need to work on. But yeah, I thought I would share that with you all, because I know there's so many people out there that suffer from anxiety, and it's not, it's normal. It's not something that, you know, is like big news or anything like that. And it's normal to be anxious about things. Obviously, most of you will know that Alan is my boyfriend, who I've been with for like 2.5 years now. And I don't know if any of you know like our story, but I met Alan when I lived in London, and I met him when I was 4 or 5 years old. And yeah, we kind of like were joined at the hip when we was in London. We lived 3 minutes away from each other. My parents and his parents were constantly getting together at the weekends and doing stuff. We'd go to like Bournemouth, Brighton. We were just basically always together. We went to the same primary school, etc. Someone would babysit for him after school because his parents would work till late, so they couldn't pick him up from school. So yeah, we just formed this like inseparable friendship. Like we were literally stuck at the hip. And then I moved away from London and I went to live in a different city. And for 12 years, me and him just didn't speak. Like we weren't in contact with each other. I did a couple of times like search him on Facebook and stuff like that, but I was never brave enough to like add him on Facebook or anything. Until 2014, when I did add him on Facebook in October, and he like accepted straight away. Now at the time I was in a relationship, a long-term relationship, and he was in a long-term relationship, and we were just we just started speaking and we were just friends, like friends catching up after like years of not speaking to each other. And then our parents started talking to each other through phone calls, etc. And they came to visit us in the city that I live in. And that was in November in 2014 when they came here. And then by December of that year, me and him had broken up from our relationships. And then we started to like see each other and we started to like each other. And then in January we were like official. So January 2015 we started to like, we were boyfriend and girlfriend. And yeah, 2.5 years later we're still together, still really happy. And I just think like, I don't know, it's just, I believe in fate. I believe that everything happens for a reason. And if any of you didn't know that, I've got that quote tattooed on my thigh. I think it's just like a really cute story. Like me and him have got loads of pictures of when we were kids, and it's just going to be a really nice thing to like tell our children and grandchildren one day in the future. And yeah, I just think that if you find someone who is not right for you, you will find that person that is right for you, and you have to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince. I know that sounds really cheesy and like cliche, but it's true. Like I am so glad that I decided to add him on Facebook that day, and I'm so glad that he accepted, and I'm glad that things happened as they did. So yeah, that's the story of me and Alan. That's the story of my anxiety and the story of me breaking an arm twice. That is a complete. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and are looking forward to the rest of the alphabet of me. And if you did enjoy it, then please do leave it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see future videos. Also, if you want to follow me on any of my social medias, they are all linked down below in the description box, so come and say hi. Alright guys, I will see you soon with another video.